Welcome to this sixth and final video regarding the opposites in the Hexaflex from acceptance and commitment therapy. We have covered the 5 other concepts in the previous videos, so if you haven't seen them, go to the Personal Psyche portal and view them there. The basic concept in ACT is that each part of the 6 variants in the Hexaflex has an impact on personal flexibility. The parts we have dealt with are avoidance versus acceptance, fusion versus diffusion, self as content versus self as context, past/future versus present moment, and lack of direction versus values. And now we are at the 6th pair, lack of action versus committed action. So what is the content of lack of action? As the term says, nothing much is happening. There could be some action, but the action or activity doesn't happen for some reason. The reasons for this can be many. In the following, we will take you through some major areas that can cause this lack of action. At its core, a lack of action in ACT is often about avoiding discomfort. This could be emotional discomfort, like anxiety or sadness, cognitive discomfort, such as facing challenging thoughts or beliefs, or even physical discomfort. For instance, someone might avoid starting a challenging project at work because they fear failure or criticism. This avoidance can be a way to steer clear of these uncomfortable feelings. While avoiding action can provide short-term relief from discomfort, it typically leads to negative long-term consequences. These can include missed opportunities, stagnation in personal or professional growth, and even a reinforcement of the fears or negative beliefs that led to the avoidance in the first place. For example, not applying for jobs due to fear of rejection may temporarily reduce anxiety, but can lead to long-term unemployment and increased feelings of inadequacy. In ACT, increasing psychological flexibility is key to addressing a lack of action. Psychological flexibility involves being open to experiencing thoughts and feelings without judgment while continuing to move toward one's values. It means recognizing that avoiding discomfort is a natural response, but not always helpful or practical. One way to overcome a lack of action is through clarifying personal values, understanding what is truly important and meaningful to an individual. Once these values are clear, it becomes easier to take committed actions that align with these values, even in the face of discomfort. This shift from inaction to action is not about ignoring or getting rid of uncomfortable feelings, but rather about moving forward despite them. Techniques like mindfulness and cognitive diffusion are used in ACT to help individuals deal with the thoughts and feelings contributing to a lack of action. Mindfulness encourages being present and fully engaged with the current moment without judgment. Cognitive diffusion involves stepping back and observing one's thoughts rather than getting entangled. In summary, a lack of action in ACT is primarily an avoidance-based response to emotional, cognitive, or physical discomfort. Overcoming this lack of action involves increasing psychological flexibility, clarifying personal values, and learning to take actions that align with these values despite uncomfortable thoughts and feelings. Impulsivity, particularly in the context of acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, is a multifaceted concept that involves acting quickly and without sufficient thought or consideration of the consequences. This behavior is typically driven by an immediate desire to escape or reduce unpleasant internal experiences. Here's a more detailed look at impulsivity within the framework of ACT. Impulsivity often occurs in response to an internal urge for instant relief from discomfort. This discomfort could be emotional, like anxiety or sadness, physical, such as pain or fatigue, or cognitive, involving distressing thoughts or memories. For example, someone might impulsively spend money to feel a temporary rush of pleasure, disregarding their long-term financial goals. At the heart of impulsivity is the desire to quickly escape or alleviate internal discomfort. This can lead to actions inconsistent with one's long-term goals or values. For instance, someone might react angrily in a moment of frustration, damaging a relationship that is important to them. While impulsive actions can provide immediate relief or gratification, they often have negative long-term consequences. These can include damage to relationships, financial difficulties, health problems, or personal or professional development setbacks. These longer-term repercussions frequently overshadow the immediate comfort gained from impulsive actions. In ACT, a significant focus is placed on actions aligned with personal values. Impulsivity typically represents a deviation from this principle, as impulsive actions are often more about escaping discomfort than moving toward what is genuinely essential to the individual. ACT employs various strategies to help individuals manage impulsivity. These include mindfulness, which encourages being present and aware of one's thoughts and feelings without immediately reacting. Another strategy is cognitive diffusion, which helps individuals create space between their thoughts and actions, reducing the likelihood of impulsive behavior. Increasing psychological flexibility is crucial in managing impulsivity. This involves being open to experiencing all thoughts and feelings, comfortable or not, and making conscious choices aligned with one's values rather than reacting automatically to internal experiences. In summary, impulsivity in the context of ACT is characterized by quick, reflexive actions often aimed at escaping uncomfortable internal states. These actions can provide short-term relief, but often lead to adverse long-term outcomes and are typically not aligned with one's deeper values and goals. Managing impulsivity involves developing skills like mindfulness and cognitive diffusion and striving towards greater psychological flexibility, where actions are more deliberate and aligned with personal values. Ted used to seek protection in avoiding possible catastrophes and ended up with more anxiety and uneasiness. When he was afraid, he took the easy way out. His values were toned down, he ignored his deep wishes and let the opportunities go. Committed action is a central concept in acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. It is the opposite of inaction and is crucial in its therapeutic process. It refers to consciously choosing and persistently engaging in actions aligned with one's values, even in difficult or uncomfortable internal experiences. Here's a deeper look at committed action. At the heart of committed action is the alignment with personal values. Values in ACT are defined as chosen life directions or qualities of personally meaningful action. Committed action is about doing things that move you closer to the life you want based on what truly matters to you. For example, a person who values health may exercise regularly despite feeling tired or unmotivated. Committed action acknowledges that pursuing meaningful activities will often bring challenges and discomfort. This could include fear, anxiety, doubt, or physical pain. Rather than avoiding these feelings, ACT encourages acceptance of them as a natural part of life's journey, especially when moving towards meaningful goals. Unlike impulsive actions, which are driven by a desire for immediate relief, committed actions are focused on long-term fulfillment and well-being. This often means choosing to do things that are challenging or uncomfortable in the short term because they contribute to a meaningful, fulfilling life in the long run. Committed action is not about rigidly sticking to a specific behavior or goal. It's also about being flexible and adaptable in the pursuit of values. This means adjusting one's actions and strategies as needed while staying true to one's core values. Actions within this framework are chosen consciously and are not automatic responses to internal or external stimuli. They require self-awareness and deliberation, where the individual considers their values and long-term goals before acting. Committed action often requires persistent effort and resilience. It involves staying the course, even when slow progress or setbacks occur. This persistence is supported by the understanding that the journey towards living a values-driven life is often challenging but ultimately rewarding. ACT uses techniques such as mindfulness and cognitive diffusion to support committed action. Mindfulness helps individuals to stay present and engaged in their actions. In contrast, cognitive diffusion helps them maintain a healthy distance from unhelpful thoughts and emotions that might otherwise hinder their progress. And we have come to the end of this topic. Our friend Ted finally learned to use all the tools in the Hexaflex. He started to go for the things he valued, not without bad emotions, but despite them. And as his values got clearer, he dealt with more and more difficult situations in his life. Now, he only has to stay on the job and fulfill his values through good goal setting and persistence. Life is exciting, fun, and worth living. One of the reasons for that is that humans are allowed free will. Even when it comes to pain and discomfort, we still have the capability and possibility to choose. During these videos, we have tried to explain the benefits of improving your life if you need it and understand what happens when someone else needs it. The personal psyche portal is started to spread knowledge and understanding.